أنا لها أنا لها لا أنثني عند الصعاب. أنا لها أنا لها أنا لها نقولها نحن الشباب. أنا لها.
الرحمن الرحيم. أهلا ومرحبا. Welcome again to our new series Arabic Grammar with An-Nahwu al-wadih. Today's lesson we are going to be looking at the topic al-fa'il. Al-fa'il means the doer. Now, what is the meaning of al-fa'il in Arabic language? So the qaida says al-fa'ilu ismun marfu'un taqaddamahu fi'lun wa dalla 'ala alladhi fa'ala al-fi'lu. Now let's repeat the qaida again. Al-fa'ilu ismun marfu'un taqaddamahu fi'lun wa dalla 'ala alladhi fa'ala al-fi'lu. One more time. Al-fa'ilu ismun marfu'un taqaddamahu fi'lun wa dalla 'ala alladhi fa'ala al-fi'lu. Now let's look at the explanation to the qaida. The qaida says al-fa'ilu, that is the doer, ismun, it is a noun, marfu'un, which is required to be in the state of ar-raf'u. Now, what is the meaning of ar-raf'u in Arabic language? A lot of persons do explain the word ar-raf'u to be dhamma, and this is a wrong concept. Rather, the correct thing to say is the word ar-raf'u, it is one of the states or conditions which the last letter of the words in Arabic language do represent or form, which is majorly indicated or denoted by dhamma as its major sign. Same way, we also have some other letters in Arabic language which do denote or indicate that a word is marfu'un. Letters like al-wawu, alif, and nun. For instance, when we say ja'a abuka, so the word abu here, it is known as al-fa'il, which is marfu'un bil wawi. You cannot say marfu'un bil dhamma because it is not carrying dhamma at the end. So you say it is in the state of ar-raf'u with wa as indication. So same way we also have alif standing as a sign to show that the word is marfu'un. For instance, when we say ja'a al-waladani, so here the word al-waladani, it is also fa'il, the doer in the sentence. So you will say it is marfu'un bil alif, that it is in the state of ar-raf'u with alif as indication or a sign. So from this we learn that the word ar-raf'u, it is not actually dhamma. Rather, dhamma, it is part of the signs to denote that the word is in the state of ar-raf'u or it is marfu'un. Now, the most important thing here is that whenever we see al-fa'il in Arabic language, it is always required to be in the state of ar-raf'u, that is marfu'un, either by carrying dhamma majorly or by some other certain signs, maybe like al-wa, alif, and nun. So in Arabic language, whenever al-fa'il is in a sentence, it is always required to be marfu'un by carrying dhamma as its major sign, or through some other certain letters like al-wawu, alif, and nun. Now the qaida continues. It said taqaddamahu fi'lun, that it is always required for a verb to come before it. So in Arabic language, al-fa'il, it is always expected to be preceded by a verb. وَدَلَّ عَلَى الَّذِي فَعَلَ الْفِعْلُ, and also it is going to show or tell the doer of the action in such sentence. Now, in the other way around, we can say these are some of the conditions which in Arabic language, before a word can be considered as al-fa'il, it must fulfill these given conditions. Number one, it must be ismun, that is a noun, then marfu'un, which will be required to be in the state of al-rafu, either by carrying dhamma or through some other certain letters like al-wa, alif, and nun. Then taqaddamahu fi'lun, that a verb will be required to come before it, meaning the doer cannot come before a verb, rather the verb will be required to come before it. Then wadalla ala alladhi fa'ala al-fi'lu, and also it will be required to show the doer of the action in such sentence. So now this is the explanation to the qaida that is telling us the meaning of al-fa'il, the doer, in Arabic language. In Arabic language, al-fa'il, which is the doer, it is always required to be a noun and preceded by a verb, and also expected to be in the state of al-rafu by carrying dhamma and some other certain letters. Then it will also be required to show that it is the doer in such sentence. Now let's look at some few examples that we have drafted out from the book. The first is Tara al-usfuru, meaning the sparrow flew. So here the word al-usfuru, it is known as al-fa'il marfu'un bid-dhamma, that it is fa'il, the doer of the action in the sentence, marfu'un bid-dhamma, which is in the state of al-rafu through dhamma as indication. So the next is jara al-kalbu. So the word al-kalbu, it is also fa'il, then marfu'un bid-dhamma, that is required to be in the state of al-rafu through dhamma as indication. Same thing, we also have la'ib al-waladu. So al-walad is also fa'il marfu'un bid-dhamma. So these are the few examples we are going to look at. Now, before we end the lesson, let's try and carry out some few i'rab. Now, in case you don't know the meaning of al-i'rab in Arabic language, when you are told to carry out the i'rab of a given sentence in Arabic language, such means you will be required to analyze each of the words in such sentence, stating which group each of the words in such sentence belong to, in terms of whether such word is a noun or a verb or a preposition. And when it is a noun, we also tell whether it is the doer, the object, subject, or predicate, and so on. And when it is a verb, we also tell whether it is in past tense, present tense, and commanding tense, and so on. So now let's begin with the first sentence here. So we have Tara al-usfuru. So here you see the word Tara, it is fi'lu madi, that it is a past tense. Then mabaniyu al-fath, which is built in fatha, that is, which is required to carry fatha at the end. Then al-usfur, it is fa'il marfu'un bid-dhamma, that it is the doer of the action in the sentence, marfu'un bid-dhamma, which is required to be in the state of al-rafu by dhamma as indication. Then you can also say al-dhahira ala akhiri, which is appearing at the end of the word. Then the next is jara al-kalbu. So here you say the word jara, it is fi'lu madi mabaniyu ala al-alifi al-muqaddara ala akhirihi. Then the next is al-kalb. You also say it is fa'il marfu'un bid-dhammati al-dhahira ala akhirihi. The same thing here you say la'iba, it is fi'lu madi mabaniyu ala al-fath. Then al-walad, it is fa'il marfu'un bid-dhammati al-dhahira ala akhirihi. So these are the i'rab of the sentences or the examples we have drafted out from the book. And inshallah, here we are going to end today's lesson. Please try and carry out some of the few tamarin, the exercises below this lesson. And please, when you find any difficulty while carrying out any of the exercises, please feel free to drop your question under the comment section. We are going to be glad to respond to them. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.